Hey guys, the choke cable has separated. Okay, it looked quite nice from the both ends, but obviously at this point here where it comes down to bend, some water was there and it's corroded, and so even though it's looking nice at each end, it corroded in the middle and separated. I'd ordered some replacement cable in a generic form, so it's you get a length of the sheath and a length of the Bowden cable. And the type that I ordered, it actually came with a small nipple. I can just show you. It actually came with a small nipple on the end, which is handy. That's one job done. If it doesn't come with a small nipple on the end, then you have to make the nipple. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you make it. The first thing that you'll do is, because it probably doesn't come with ferules. These ferules are these caps at the end. So you need to remove those from your previous cable. And it is a case of gently, well, it's knackered anyway, but get it in a vise, nip up the vise here, and then using your pliers, just sort of twist and tap it off, and they'll come off. And take both off and put them on your new section, which you're going to have measured to suit. So if previously the cable seemed tight, then this is the time when you can just lengthen it by 20 mil, an inch or two, something like that. However, to suit, as long as you've got a long enough cable, and normally you should have. Okay, so you've chosen your length, you've cut it off, you've probably ground off the edge so it's neat. You've cut it probably with a hacksaw, ground it off so it's neat, cleaned it up so there's nothing sharp there, and then popped your ferrules on. Okay, so we're like that, and we then slide through the cable, and it doesn't have this big nipple on the end. It's just clear. What you need to do is you need to get it, in this case, get it on the choke, and get it with your adjuster. It needs to be sat home in the adjuster. Right sat home in the adjuster. Before you do your final marking off, you just always come back and just check, because that's down at your carb. And this is slotted through your, in this case, the handlebars, and it comes through this. You can see how it comes through there and bends through, and it also slots in. You can see that. You can see there. So that's got to be slotted in home. It's got to be slotted in home there and down at the carb. And this twists round to go in that hole there. Okay? And that's our objective, is to make a nipple to slot into that hole. Once you actually have it pulled through, you'll have a piece stuck out here. Yeah. And what you need to do is you then need to mark it with some snips, or some very fine snips, which I don't seem to have to hand. These. And what you do is you will look at your where the nipple goes, as you can see, just that. Okay, there. So you'll hold the cable alongside it, like this, stuck out, and mark it, and you can nip it so that you can see it. You have to deform it slightly so it's long like this. And then, so you know exactly where you're going to put your nipple vis-a-vis the rest of your carb and everything. So it's all set. You've next got to tin this length of cable, and tin it just past where you've marked it. Okay, so while it's assembled, you need to first soak it. Ideally, I would soak it in acetone and leave this length soaking in acetone, because that will take off any residual grease from the factory. Once you've had it soaked in acetone, be careful because it's extremely flammable, very volatile acetone. Take it out; it'll dry within seconds, in a minute. You know, it'll dry out from the fibres, and you then take, if you have it, this is plumber's paste, and it tins and protects as it goes. So it's an acid, but it contains the tin to sink in, soak into all these strands of cables. Okay, so you take first of all you have to stir it, and then you take your brush and brush it exactly where you want it to tin. So literally just past where you've marked on the cable side, the other side is going to be cut off. And so you cut it in that, and then take your burner and melt it. When it melts, it gets sucked into the strands, and that's it. It's tinned. You can then, once it's gone cold, take a piece of wood, put it on like this, and scrape off any of the blackness that's there. But it's tinned and it's ready for the next phase, because now we've got to make the nipple end. And to make the nipple end, I'll just pop that there. To make the nipple end, we need to measure this this diameter here. So take, in this case, it was I think that's 6. And you take it with your drill, and you find a drill that goes in. You can make it smaller. Doesn't want to be any bigger, but you know then that, oh, okay, 6 milli goes in. 5.5 milli would go in. 6 milli would go in. I chose a 6mm drill. It's got a chamfer. It's not flat. We're drilling into wood, and so I just drilled down a little bit, and then I took a 6 milli one of these and hammered it flat. So I actually drilled down with a normal steel drill, which leaves a chamfer, and just sort of penetrated a couple of mil, into the wood. And then I took a drift and whacked it down flat so that it got rid of the chamfer that was left by the drill. And so I ended up with this round. Hang on a second. This round hole. I can maybe focus in a bit on it. It's just a round hole, flat at the bottom. And 6 milli. And then I took a hacksaw blade, a common organ hacksaw blade, and I mean, it's soft as the wood, so literally just cut in the central piece. So far, I kept offering it. I had to actually. Just going down with a single blade, it's too tight. So I had to actually cut to the side and then down again, and just expanded it so that the cable fits nicely in. Like that, all the way to the end. Obviously new cable goes to the end, which means that any lead that's in our mould is going to come around it. It's already tinned. And the next thing is, yeah, you take your burner and you just simply drop. You melt the end of this and it just drops in here to form, you know, when you're happy with the quantity of lead that you've got in there, it's up a bit, it's hot. You take your cable and quickly, as you're heating it up, you know, with your burner there, you just slot it in and the whole of the lead just forms around your tinning work and it's beautiful, and you then have to hold it then and keep it there for some time and blow on it, because otherwise if you make a mistake you'll pull it off and it won't, you know, you'll just rip out the cable. So keep it there in place until it has fully gone off and then you can wangle it out. And what you end up with is this. Okay. Now I've flattened it off. You just simply hold that in the vise and take a file of this, quite a file like that. So it's fine-ish, you know. It's not a really thick rasping file, but it's not too fine, and you don't want it too fine. You don't want it too fine because it's lead, and you can just literally, if you hold it in a vise like that and just nip it up at the sides, it just comes off in sheets. And you can actually, within seconds, you can file. You know, turn it round, do the other side, and you can get that to whatever width you want very easily, and then finish off just taking off any flashing around. The end bit of the cable, you probably need to actually just grind that down because it's steel and it's hardish, you know, and so that's best ground off. But the rest of it you can do. You don't need to clog your grinder with the lead. The rest you can do with the file. And yeah, and there we are. And that's it. Now, if you've gone too far with your tinning, like we've gone to here, what we're going to do is, once we've made this fit, okay, right here, we're going to actually bend the tinning up so it curves around this bend here, and that will feed it better through the slot. Okay, so just a little bit of a curve to help it around that bend, just to guide it a little bit better. So yeah, we've got away with that, but I would be careful not to get so low. You just want to be a millimetre or 2 millimeters past past your mold, okay, for your tinning, and that'll be fine. Okay, so there's our cable. Yeah, perfectly cut size, and with our nice nipple on the end. Just a little bit more work to tidy up, but not bad, you know. And yeah, you can do it. It's fiddly, you know. It's fiddly, but you can do it and do a good job. All right, I'll see you later.